everyone, and welcome back to At the Table. So good to see you. The show that asks you to pull out your chairs, get your TTRPG books, and join us at the table. And today we have a lot of really fun stuff to talk about from the Fist of the Ruby Phoenix AP that came out. Got some archetypes and maybe some other surprises. We'll see what we can get through, and we'll see how the time gods fare. But without further ado, let's say hello. Sorry with you, Mr. Michael Powell. Tell them who you are and where they can find you on that sweet, sweet internet.
Well, as always, I am the dastardly, dashing Michael Powell, and you can find me all over the internet on my social medias, which is at MRKAPAO. And how about you, PJ?
My name is PJ McGaw. You can find me all over the internet at pj.mcgaw, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Come find me, come friend me, and let's have fun. And without further ado, let's get right into this. So previously, not last week, but a week before that, we talked about the Fist of the Ruby Phoenix and some of the archetypes. Well, now we're talking about more archetypes from a little later in the book series, starting with the Butterfly Blade.
Yeah. Could I jump in really quick with some info? We actually did it a little bit out of order, but oh well. The next two archetypes that we are going to be talking about is going to be from the Despair on Danger Island book, which I believe is the second book. Just let me double check. Fact checking. Oh, Despair on Danger Island is actually the first book in the adventure path.
Awesome. So yeah, so if you already have the AP and you're working through the whole book, then you will probably already have these at this point in time. But this is great because if you remember the last time, we had two very interesting archetypes that would come at you much later in the campaign. So now we get to see what the options are for like earlier in the story or earlier in your home game, because these can definitely be used for both. So, Mr. Michael Powell, do you want to start off with the dedication feat?
Sure. All right. The Butterfly Blade. Ooh. I did a little look ahead. I like this. I'm just going to go right out and say it. I like this archetype. All right. You're trained in Goka's oldest tradition of espionage, intimidation, and combat mastery. You use your skills to learn about your enemies and cut them down with your mastery of the Butterfly Sword.
Yeah. So getting the excuse me, getting the expert feat, always good. And looking ahead at the butterfly swords, why don't you tell more about those? Because those butterfly swords are pretty dang cool.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, the butterfly swords. I know how to say the word. The butterfly swords. They're short, single-edged swords that typically features a crossguard that helps catch oncoming attacks. They're the preferred weapon of the butterfly blades, who are highly skilled Goken assassins. And in real world, I don't know why I am. It's one of these days, one of those days. In real world lore, you can look up the butterfly blade. I'm gonna try maybe put a picture of that around here somewhere around that area. Essentially, they're like short, wide-bladed machetes. That's the best way I could really describe them, with kind of a knuckle guard.
Yeah, they're really cool, really intense weapons. If you I'm just gonna date myself here. If you remember the Mortal Kombat G.I. Joe action figures you could buy, every single like G.I. Joe and Mortal Kombat character came with like that little plastic punch out that had the crappy plastic weapons, and they're always the same crappy plastic weapons. They always end up getting a kukri knife, a butterfly sword, and like either the world's stiffest nunchuck or something else. But so if you grew up with those toys, you grew up with a butterfly sword.
Yeah, they usually come in pairs of twos. The stats for it are price 2 gold pieces, not too expensive. Damage 1d4, so pretty much on par with dagger, slashing, bulk of large. You can actually wield it in one hand. Their category is advanced, so you might have to pick up a feat for this. Group of swords, and it has the traits of agile, disarm, finesse, monk, parry, twin, and uncommon.
Yeah, so while it may be an advanced weapon, and it may only do about a dagger of damage, it makes up for it with its sheer versatility. Not only are you getting like lighter strikes, but if you're a monk, you can then use these as a monk weapon with your flurry of blows and your feats. You also get disarm, so you get to disarm a weapon, parry, so you get bonus to your AC, and twin. So as you're attacking, for every weapon die that the weapon has, you get a bonus extra damage for it. So, like, it's definitely not something that you're going to be stacking heavy dice on, but it will be something that will give you so many options in combat.
Do you know what's really cool about the fact that they're twin weapons and the fact that they have agile, disarm, and finesse? You could actually enchant each blade with different runes.
That's true. That's true indeed. And that's kind of always fun about dual wielding. You do have to make sure you tell your GM which one you're using, because it's like, this one has this ability, this one doesn't. So
you could totally go, this one is fire and this one is ice.
Yes, I have a bally song of fire and ice. Those are different butterfly blades. Those are those are knives. So the next one is a level 4 feat called Clever Gambit. Now we should say the dedication feat was a level 4 dedication feat, so you're going to have to get that before you can get this one.
PJ, I don't believe we have actually went into the dedication yet.
Oh, I thought that was the dedication.
No, I read the flavor. I read the flavor.
You read the flavor, and it sounded like the dedication. That is my bad. Why don't you continue with the dedication, Mr. Michael Powell?
All right. Well, the dedication is a level 4 feat called the Butterfly Blade Dedication. So which means, unlike other archetypes, you're not going to be picking up at level 2. You have to wait a little while. Let's see. Prereqs is you actually have to be first trained in butterfly swords, so you're gonna have to get that feat to use the advanced weapons. Access is you have to defeat a member of the Butterfly Blades in a sanctioned bout. So what that means is essentially Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
See, that's kind of cool, because you probably will fight one or two NPCs somewhere in the Fist of the Ruby Phoenix tournament where you're gonna do that. If not, and you really want it, and your GM hasn't put that up against you, ask them. Maybe you can work out a backstory and just go from there.
Let's see. You also become trained in deception and stealth, and if you're already trained, you become an expert instead. Whenever your proficiency rank in any weapon increases to expert or beyond, you also gain a new proficiency rank with the butterfly swords, and you also gain access to the butterfly swords. And as usual, you can't select another dedication feat until you gain 2 other feats from this archetype.
Yeah, and this is really cool because, like I said, it gives you that free expert feat. I don't know why my brain was just not at all on the level it should have been. But now you become expert in 2 skills, and at level 3, I think you only get to choose to be trained in like 2 more. So at level 4, you're getting more expert proficiencies, new skills before this, and access to this crazy awesome weapon that is, I think, I have a feeling is kind of centered around the entire archetype. So that'll definitely come in handy.
Yeah. And honestly, especially if you went fighter as your core class, you're gonna eventually, I think, reach legendary with those butterfly swords.
Yeah, and I think they're the only class that gets legendary in melee combat. I know champions get legendary in armor, and I don't think barbarians get legendary in weapon or armor. Get in the comments, legends. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. We got Penguin Witch Doctor in chat saying lightning and thunder.
That's right. Lightning and see, now I'm thinking back to 10,000 Trueno.
Yeah. We also have Reap Psyche posted. Butterfly blades are so cool. They're such a vast tool. Oh, most definitely. Definitely. All right.
A neat note for dual wielding characters: the magic item doubling rings makes it so that you only have to rune one of the pair. That's correct. Yeah, that's actually really cool. I was looking into that. It's a magical ring you can wear that allows you to copy the effects of one rune onto another weapon. So it's 2 for the price of 1. Next up, Clever Gambit. This is technically a rogue feat that you can also take a level 4. I believe this kind of falls into the optional feats that you can take with this archetype. But if you are a butterfly blade and have the mastermind racket, so if you are traditionally already a rogue, you can take this a lot easier. Trigger, your strike critically hits and deals damage to a creature you've identified with a recall knowledge check. Your battle tactics are aided by your assessment of your foe's capabilities, allowing you to instantly adjust your movements to maximum advantage. You step or stride. This movement doesn't trigger reactions from the triggering creature. So if you recall knowledge and critically hit something, you get to move your full movement for free without provoking. Pretty solid battlefield mobility feat.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about oh darn, I am blanking on the name of that feat, that reaction. It's
the one where they hit you?
Yeah.
Attack of opportunity.
Attack.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about attack of opportunity.
But and this is why I say, while attack of opportunity is always nice, it's always solid. I think this is why I'm kind of biased to the champion, because I don't believe that movement will stop them from provoking their retribution. So it's like, haha, I hit this person. Oh no, you have moved. Psych, zap, you know what I mean? Like there's still that, but they can't attack of op. They can only punish you.
Oh, we got Pengu-chan in chat. Hello there.
Pengu-chan.
Oh, and thank you for subbing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Pengu-chan.
All right. I will take the next feat, which is another one of those optional feats, which is called Combat Assessment. It's one action, and let's see. You make a telegraph attack to learn about your foe. Make a melee strike. On a hit, you can immediately attempt a check to recall knowledge about the target. On a critical hit, you gain a +2 circumstance bonus to the check to recall knowledge. The target is temporarily immune to combat assessment for 1 day.
All right, it's not bad. You get to make an instant +2 check to know stuff about it. It seems weird to me because, you've already hit it. So what do you need to learn about it? I learned that when you hit it really hard, it doesn't like that. You don't say.
Actually, you could tell if this is actually useful because, especially if you play if you're like an investigative player, such as moi, you could find out weaknesses. Like, okay, they might be vulnerable to. They have a resistance to slashing damage or fire damage, or you might go, oh, you know what? They're actually weak to piercing damage. Maybe it's time for me to either use my shifting rune and turn my butterfly blade into a rapier, or switch to my dagger weapon.
Yeah, it really does depend on how you roll and how your GM is feeling. Because strictly speaking, rules is written. It doesn't say you have to give up a weakness. So that is a possibility, but regrettably, that is not a guarantee. But it's still nice.
But there are actually feats that actually makes it so.
True. If you want to go down that route. Next one is Quick Draw. It is a 1-action feat. And this one can be used for both the butterfly blade or the vigilante. So that's, options. You draw your weapon and attack with the same motion. You interact to draw the weapon, then strike with that weapon. Now, I know that the multiple attack penalty can be stacked onto some unusual things. Like, for example, if you try a multiple athletics check to grapple someone, technically rules as written, each attempt would have a penalty for a multiple attack. Is basically striking on the draw, does that count as a map? Get in the chats, let me know. I'm really curious.
You know what? I would say I think it works that way.
Yeah,
feels like it works that way.
Because in my brain, it would be like you draw and you strike, no penalties. But then again, my brain also says if I try to grab someone in combat and I miss, and I try to grab again, I would, in theory, in reality, be at a penalty. I would, but I get rules as written and balancing. It all makes sense.
Yeah. All right. Next up is a level 6 feat called Butterfly's Kiss. Prereqs for this is you have to have taken the Butterfly Blade dedication, so pretty easy. You can make non-lethal strikes with a butterfly sword without taking a penalty, which is really cool. Which means you have to bring them alive
Yeah. Or you need to knock him out for interrogation. There's
Mm-hmm.
always a really good use for non-lethal if that's what you want. And the fact that you no longer have the penalties for using it, why not?
Honestly, I just bypassed this by just carrying a sap on me. It's like it's basically a sock with a bunch of quarters in it.
I'm gonna hit you with the Florida State Special. Back.
Yep.
Uh, so the next one though, really simple but very powerful. I really love this. Butterfly Sting. It's another level 6 feat, so you may want to compare and contrast to see which of the 4 level 6 feats you want. Butterfly Sting straight up gives you sneak attack.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you don't increase the number of dice as you gain levels, but you do straight up get a d6 sneak attack. So if you're a fighter, let's say you are a fighter butterfly blade, you're still going to get that extra 1d6 sneak attack damage. And that's going to be such a beneficial damage boon.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's really nice. It's really nice, especially like I said, it's your opening gambit. It's your opening move, and you get add a little 1d6 to it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I'm gonna jump into chat real quick. We have Reap Psyche posted. I played a Cobalt Soul monk in that other game, and this sounds like an attempt to mimic their abilities that give you a crazy amounts of info about an enemy, but not phrased as powerfully.
Yeah, I think what Pathfinder 2nd worked really hard on bless you, and did a good job of doing was kind of making a very interesting and amazing and voluminous set of rules, and then shorthanding it.
Yeah.
So if you kind of know what recall knowledge is, you don't have to have this massive write out on the ability that gives you recall knowledge. You just see recall knowledge and go, dope. That means I can do that. Cool.
All right.
So next one is
Dread Striker.
Yeah.
All right. That's another level 6 feat. Lots of level 6 feats. Let's see. Archetype, Butterfly Blade, and you capitalize on your enemy's fear to slip past their defenses. Any creature that has the frightened condition is also flat-footed against your attacks. I like this. I like this main for the fact that PJ, you know how much of a fan I am of Demoralize.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I mean, I like fear. I like the penalties fear gives, but for the most part, it just doesn't feel powerful. And this is such a powerful 1-2 combo. If they're feared, now they're flat-footed, and here comes that sneak attack.
Oh, this is you combo this with Butterfly Sting.
Oh, 100%.
Oh yeah,
100%. Now, this next one, and some of these are potential spoilers for the AP, so I'm going to try and skip some stuff here. This next one's called Mastermind's Eye. I feel like this is very good for Ruva, at least in name alone. When you succeed at identifying a creature using Recall Knowledge, that creature is now flat-footed against your attacks until the start of your next turn. This has got to be the best use of the Recall Knowledge ability I've ever seen.
oh yeah.
If you critically succeed, it's flat-footed against your attacks for a minute. This feat serves as the rogue's mastermind racket for the purpose of meeting prereqs. So if you are a rogue and you did not take the mastermind racket, you can get this feat and still qualify as also having taken the mastermind racket. This is like 3 things in one.
Oh, I love this feat. And honestly, with investigators, succeeding in a recall knowledge check is pretty easy.
Oh yeah, you guys get how much bonuses to recall knowledge?
Oh man, I think one of my highest bonus right now, one of my skills is like a plus 11. So, yeah, it's not, even if I roll like in the single digits, it's gonna be a high roll.
Yeah, and I believe there's I forgot the math at the top of my head, but there's definitely a flat DC. So as long as you have like a lot of bonuses, you're probably going to be getting some pretty good recall knowledge bonuses.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can just make a recall knowledge check either as part of an earlier ability or with like one action roll, and now you're forcing flat-footed on the target.
Oh,
that's gorgeous.
PJ, want to hear something kind of funny? You know what? We have to check the if I could actually post this on this video, but if I can't, I'll post it somewhere around here. But this reminds me of one of my favorite, this comic panel from this comic called The Flaming Carrot. And it says the Flaming Carrot is a master of perception, and he's essentially out in the field with a guy, and he's pointing at a cow. Goes, cow. That's how I see Rupa using Mastermind's eye. Korikos.
That's the BBEG.
Yeah.
How do you know? We've only been hearing about him for 54 episodes. Oh man. Oh, and I can't wait for episode 55. But moving right along. So the Mastermind's Eye, really good. And if you're already a rogue, this definitely allows you to, because you don't really get the Mastermind's Racket, but you get the perks of it, like the feats. So this is a great way to basically dump on like an extra racket to your rogue butterfly blade.
Most definitely. Ooh, I just thought about it. It might be kind of mad, but if you take this dedication and down the road also take the rogue dedication, you could take a different racket, but also because this actually serves as the mastermind racket for purpose of meeting prereqs, you have access to two different rackets for the rogue feats.
You know, I do love that, and what I love more about that is if you want to, you can combine this butterfly blade, an investigator, and a rogue, and combined, now you have at least two sources of sneak attack. I remember there's a rule about this. Remind me if they stack, chat. If they don't stack, cool, because I know there's a rule, and I can't remember what it is. Hey, Van, awesome to see you in the chat, my dude. Binary Fireball. This is the fun part, is the cow was a tree. Why don't you cover Deadly Butterfly before I get too distracted?
Deadly Butterfly. It's a level 8 feat, archetype Butterfly Blade, and the prereq is Butterfly Blade Dedication. Honestly, the prereqs for pretty much all the feats here, very baseline, very easy to get, very low. Yeah. You gain access to the Butterfly Sword's critical specialization effect. If you already had access to the critical specialization effect, or you gain the effect at a later time, you also gain the critical specialization effect for knives when you critically hit with the Butterfly Sword. You can benefit from only one critical specialization effect at a time. This is, I want to say, useful asterisk.
Yeah.
Situationally useful.
I can see this where if you are in a class that doesn't have access to the critical specialization effects of your weapons, or if you get them so late that it's like, you know what, I'd rather make other choices with my feats and get this now, and you can retrain later. But it's weird because they say the access to the Butterfly Sword's critical specialization effect, and I didn't see anything unique for them. I know they're listed as a knife, so I would imagine they just get the knife. Oh, they're listed as a sword. My bad. That's okay, so that would be the difference. So they are a sword. Oh, here you go. Critical specialization effects. No, that's the description of it. Yeah, so it's a sword or it's a knife. It's up to you and how you want to use it. That's kind of cool that you get the flexibility.
Yeah, I will say I do like the crit specialization effect of a knife, which gets you 1d6 persistent bleed damage. And, bleed damage is so nice in the system.
You know, I think this is kind of the cool thing. This is what makes this feat useful, is that you can get basically two weapon groups of specializations on this weapon. You either get the sword one, which makes the character flat-footed. So if you really just want to set him up and knock him out with your sneak attacks, this is the best way I've seen to do this without having to roll a deception check or without having to constantly move to flank them.
Yeah.
The fact that there's now 4 ways with this archetype to set up for a sneak attack.
Yeah, the sword critical specialization is basically you make them flat-footed, which it's not that hard especially if you have Mastermind's Eye or combat assessment.
Yep, and if you consider it now, why did I do that? You have at least, let's see, recall knowledge, the critical specialization, and I think one other way beyond the normal to now get a flat-footed status for a sneak attack. So this is really good, and I can see why it's deadly. And then the knife is, let's say, they're already flat-footed to you, and you're like, you know what, I'm not going to get any benefit from the sword aspect. I'm just gonna use the knife aspect and give them
And just bleed them out. Bleed them out.
yeah, just bleed them out.
Yeah.
Now,
Ooh, I just thought of something, PJ.
what was that?
Putting a murderous knot on
Oh yes,
on the butterfly blade.
so good,
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah. I think that's
love it.
possible. I think that's possible because you do get access, especially if you have the Mastermind's Eye, to rogue abilities and also that sneak attack thing.
Yeah, I believe it gives you either bonus sneak attack damage or it turns your sneak attack damage into bonus bleed. It's one of the two. I can't remember.
Yeah, but butterfly sting. If you have butterfly sting, murderous knot on your butterfly sword, with the fact that you can make them bleed already, and they're already flat-footed to you.
So it's
the combos.
So it's just all the bleed damage at that point.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. Now the last one, this is a level 14 feats. So there's going to be a lot of difference, like those 6 levels of no archetype. Innocent Butterfly, level 14. You know how to alter the perception of others. You can cast Aura of the Unremarkable once per day as an innate arcane spell. This spell uses your class DC or spell DC, whichever's higher. An Aura of the Unremarkable, sustained up to 1 minute, 30-foot emanation. You and allies in the area appear to be completely innocuous to other creatures within the spell's area, regardless of the actions you're committing. For example, if you and your allies are loudly interrogating a local for information or aiming a crossbow at a noble from a balcony, creatures who can see you might think it's not unusual. Non-allied creatures in the emanation must attempt a will save. Crit success, the creature sees your actions as they really are and announce them as such. All other creatures in the area get a +1 bonus to their will saves. To recognize you, success, they see your actions as what they really are. Failure, they totally think everything you're doing is fine. Critical fail. Hold on. What? Okay, the creature believes you are performing other actions entirely, such as helping a local or waving to a noble. As determined by the GM, the creature doesn't have a chance of remembering events normally. Any hostile actions you or your allies take against a creature or its allies break the effect of the spell. So you could literally be murdering someone, and so long as they all crit fail, not only will they never believe that you did it, but they'll think you were doing something else.
Yeah, this is essentially mind your own business.
See, I love this spell because, like, every time we play the other system or some other game, there's always a spell that you have to kind of hope gives this to you.
Yeah.
You know? But at the end of the day, the language is always saying, but if you do try to, like, do something bad, people get advantage to see through it. And it's like, no, this is the F you pay me spell. It's like, no, we're going to kill this guy in broad daylight, and everyone thinks we're just giving him hugs.
Yeah. I will say though, this feat is kind of situational. Situational. It's not going to be useful all the time. You have to have a good the situation has to be just right for you to use it. And I will say this though, this could be very useful, especially in an urban campaign.
1,000%. And what's interesting is that they get this spell once a day as an arcane innate spell. And this suggests the horrifying reality that there is somewhere a wizard who does this all the time. Because if a rogue can do it once a day without having spell slots, there are people who have spell slots who will do this frequently. That's nightmare fuel.
Oh. That's the guy you bring along for your alibi.
Yeah, actually, that's terrible. It's like, welcome to the Mafia. What do I do? As the wizard, you just make it look like we're giving everyone handshakes.
Yeah.
That's it? That's all you gotta do? You don't have to... I mean, you're an accessory, but you're not an accessory. It's okay.
Yeah, just stand outside. You can even have your back turned. So technically, you're not witnessing anything.
Oh, man. It's terrifying. Let's go.
Yeah? Really quick, I was going to say, this is the type of client Rufa loves to represent.
The most evil lawyer in all of Evil Town.
Or best lawyer.
Look.
Just call Rufa.
Look, I got it. The best lawyer is the most evil lawyer. now if you want to have the best defense attorney, oh that's still kind of that situational. But anyway, point is, this is a crazy spell that like a butterfly blade could get at level 14, and if you're a rogue with this ability, have fun just Ezio auditorying your way through the campaign.
Oh, yep, Reap Psyche. Plausible deniability, baby.
Oh yeah, yep. Let's go to the next one. Now I'm gonna try and be really open-minded because I'm really excited about this next one. But it reminds me, at least in fluff, of something that we made here at the table, which was an organization, I think somewhere beyond the Great Divide, or the Grand Divide, that would basically take on, like, eat ghosts and souls and evil spirits and curses, and then, reject it, like, purify it and release it. I think we called it, like, the Way of the Void or something.
Yeah, it's like actually it's a combination. It sounds like a combination of that and another archetype that organization that we created called the Light Eaters.
Yeah, and to kind of let you know, we are talking about the next archetype, which is called the Ghost Eater. So you can kind of see what the similarities are. But I'm really excited because of these similarities to see what this is all about. Because if they brought these two ideas to life in one entity, well, damn.
Yeah, let's check it out.
All right. Do you want to start the dedication feat, or should I?
Oh, do you want to read? Do you want to read a flavor first?
I'll read the flavor first, then you can get the dedication.
Sure.
So this archetype is from Fist the Ruby Phoenix. Spoilers ahead, so, The warriors of Manata frequently contend with the lost spirits of the Taumatan people that haunt their shattered lands to this day. These Minatan warriors, known as Ghost Eaters, around Bonmu, travel the countless islands of Minata and offer their skills to exorcists and priests. When working in such a partnership, Ghost Eaters' main task is to destroy a spirit in order to give their holy comrade time to learn about the individual soul and finally put it to rest.
All right. The Ghost Eater dedication is a level 2 feat, so you could easily take it as your free archetype if you're using those rules, or just level 2. Let's see. Archetype Ghost Eater, and the prereqs here, you have to be trained in occultism or religion. You have trained as a Ghost Eater, a hunter specialized in the destruction of spirits. You know how to channel your own spiritual energy to harm spirits. Your weapon and unarmed attacks become magical. Against incorporeal creatures, they also gain the effects of a Ghost Touch property rune. And as usual, you cannot select another dedications feat until you have gained 2 others from this archetype.
Okay, hold up. Out the gate. This is bonkers. At level 2, your weapons and unarmed strikes are magical and have Ghost Touch, no matter what. That is insane, because even Paladin champions, whatever, they have to wait until, like, level 4 or 6 to get the Ghost ally, the Blade ally, to get Ghost Touch. This is level 2. Yeah. Your weapons are now magical and have Ghost Touch. Like, that's so good.
I do have a slight. I wouldn't say what's the other word than complaint? Criticization.
Criticism.
Criticism, yes, about this. Because there has been other, ghost hunter type archetypes been released thus far, and essentially they all pretty much have this. I was kind of hoping it would be this time be kind of different, something different, but
true. But I'm sorry, I interrupted you. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's all right. I was gonna say, I just wish it was something a little different, just a little different.
Well, I think for a dedication feat, the thing that you get for putting your foot in the door, it makes sense, and it does kind of set up the crux of what you're doing. You're going to be fighting ghosts, and in order to fight ghosts at level 2, you're going to need a magic weapon, and you're going to need Ghost Touch. And the fact that it sounds like this applies to any weapon you hold and your unarmed strikes at all times at level 2, bananas.
Yeah, it's
Bananarama.
Cool. Yeah. I was just going to say, I kind of wish this was like maybe a level 4, another level 4 feat, and you get something different. I was just hoping something different. You know what I'm saying?
I think I see what you're saying, but I think this is stronger at level 2 because it sets up what your main crux is, and then you're going to get the exciting, unique stuff. Because, like, the dedication feat at level 2 is always meant to be small, right? So, like, let's take a look at the level 4 feat, which is Reach Beyond, which sounds so cool. You've learned to move your spiritual energy past yourself to attack spirits where others can't. You make melee strikes against incorporeal creatures, that are inside solid objects as long as that object is within your reach. An incorporeal creature inside a solid object is hidden, requiring you to succeed a DC 11 flat check when you target it. You can spend an action which has the concentrate trait to focus on the creature inside of a solid object. If you do, the next melee strike you make this turn requires you to succeed at only a DC 6 flat check to affect the creature. So this is very technical, but long story short, this feat allows you to fight the spirits possessing something, as opposed to the thing it's possessing.
Like it's like a yokai spirit if it inhabits there's this one I forgot the name of that Japanese yokai, which is it has one eye, 1 foot, and it inhabits umbrellas.
Yes, I know what you're talking about, but I cannot remember its name.
But but you know what I'm saying, right? Like you find that one weakness, like, all right, I see it. We gotta hit it right there in the sweet spot.
Yeah. See, I feel like this is now really cool for like horror and Halloween games where like ghosts are possessing or spirits are possessing people, things. And I want to say there's an anime with a guy who had a sword, and when he struck the sword, he wouldn't attack the person; he would attack the ghost inside the person. Can't remember what that was.
Bleach?
Honestly, maybe. Yeah, that might be what I'm thinking of. Oh God. So hey, if you want to make that sweet Bleach build, become a Ghost Eater fighter.
Reach Psyche posted the name of that yokai. I'm probably gonna butcher the name of it, but I'm gonna give it my best. Kasa Obake. Kasa Obake.
Kasa Obake. I think that's right. Kasa Obake.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Van jumped in the chat. Van also said, just thought I can see that level 2 feat making it possible to do an entire campaign for ghosts and undead without having to only do zombies at low levels. Yes, exactly.
PJ.
Yeah.
You saw that new Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer, right?
I was thinking Ghostbusters the whole time.
Yeah. Ghostbusters of Daltonshire.
The Ghostbusters of Daltonshire. Yeah, that's going to be a nightmare in its own. It's like, oh man, these ghosts are really mad. These people are worse.
If it asks if you're a god, say yes.
Got a bit of itchy nose. Here we go. So Reach Beyond is cool because now you're a Ghostbuster. Why don't you take the Disrupting Strikes at level 6?
Disrupting Strikes. It's a level 6 feat, 1 action, and the prereq is Ghost Eater Dedication. You call forth positive energy from within to help you destroy undead. Your weapon and unarmed strikes gain the effects of a disrupting property rune until the start of your next turn. If you're 14th level or higher, your strikes instead gain the effects of a greater disrupting property rune. The DC for the rune's effect is equal to your class DC or spell DC, whichever is higher. This is really cool. And for those who are wondering, the disrupting property rune is, it deals an extra 1d6 positive energy to undead, and on a critical hit, the undead is also enfeebled 1 until the end of your next turn. So this would be something nice to have when you're in Daltonshire.
Well, Daltonshire mostly deals with like the more Cthulhuan part of the occult. This is amazing if you know you are going into an undead campaign. Like, let's say you're about to go into the land of Geb, and you're about to fight the undead lords of Geb. This is so good for fighting zombies, ghosts, wraiths, probably vampires. So you're going to have some really good natural options for punching a face through the back of a face. Like, it's good.
Well, isn't that how they tell you to punch in real life? don't punch something, punch through something.
Yeah, through it, not to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
when I used to do martial arts and we had to break boards, that was always the way we coach
Mm-hmm.
the kids. Don't punch to it, punch through it. And same way, actually, certain lifts. If you're doing squats, don't move up, move through the weight. Um, the more you know. So last but not least, and this is a level 16 feat. So what's interesting about this archetype is that you get 2, 4, 6, 3 solid feats back to back. You can probably get the crux of this class and not lose too much of your main primary class. And then you have another 10 levels before you get to the capstone, which is cross the threshold. So plenty of opportunity to build a character, and then this beautiful piece. We'll see how good it is. You can cast Ethereal Jaunt as an occult innate spell once per day. You don't need to sustain the spell. Instead, it lasts for 10 minutes or until you choose to return to your material form as a free action. And Ethereal Jaunt is a level 7 spell. Used to be sustained up for 1 minute. For you, no sustain, lasts up to 10. You travel to the ethereal plane, which overlaps the material plane. The material plane creatures can't see you, and you can move through things on the material plane. You move at half your normal speed. I think we covered this with the Sorcerer Bloodline.
Yeah.
But it's basically how I think canonically Nightcrawler teleports nowadays. He goes to the pocket hellscape, runs, and then comes back out where he was last looking.
Yeah, this is very useful for campaigns where there's a lot of ghosts that usually you can't really, or ethereal creatures that you can't really interact with. So you can go to them. Or this is also useful for other situations, actually, like you just need a GTFO and ethereal jaunt.
I absolutely love it because it does beg the question: how are things different visually? Like if you're in a haunt, right, and there's a phantasm causing the haunt, and you just see a bunch of crazy things, you're treated to horrible visions. Can you imagine doing an ethereal jaunt, and then you just see some ghost with like curtains going, "Ooh, crap! You saw me," and now you're on the trail.
Yeah.
In that world.
I mean, it also could be even a worse situation where, like, the effects in the material plane is kind of minor, but when you jump into the ethereal plane, everything's amped up to, like, 1,000,000,000. Like, those curtains that's going, ooh, in the ethereal plane, those are, like, Cthulhu-esque, like, meat flaps that wants to, absorb you.
Yeah, and that's a great thing because that could be up to what the GM interprets the lore for that world being, and really more to the point, it creates a new way for you to, as players, solve the problem and meet new ones.
I also want to say, it's also really useful. Say you need to sneak into somewhere, and you might not be the best sneaker. Ethereal jaunt. Yeah, they're not going to see you unless they have something special.
Yeah, 100%. Actually, I feel like that's probably the best tactical use of this, aside from narrative chase and stuff. Using this as a way to bypass, because I think they said things in the real world can't see or interact with you unless you want them to, or until you pop out. And for 10 minutes, you can get so far into a castle by sprinting for 10 minutes.
Yeah. Just like, all right, I am using up all my actions, just sprint. And you can actually just sprint without regard for anything because you're in the ethereal plane.
Yeah.
You can make as much noise as you want.
Absolutely, because only the ghosts in that realm are going to hear you or see you. Now, we have a fun treat. Didn't put this in the online thing. So, always come to At the Table. Sometimes we have random treats that we don't tell you about. Like a secret menu at burger joints. So there's more to the awesome fun stuff that fits the Ruby Phoenix released. Besides these amazing archetypes for like, hey, you want to sneak when you attack? So put some sneak attack on your flat foot. We got that covered. We now have an archetype that lets you play Ghostbusters at home, which is solid. But now there's bonus stuff, including 16 new level 20 capstone feats, and they get insanely awesome. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, just in case, did you forget about the thing, or are you just about to talk about it?
Oh, I was trying to get to
Oh,
it.
oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
It's okay. You gotta let me do the thing. But also more importantly, I think the thing we're going to cover first is a special, brand new Sorcerer Bloodline, and it is the Phoenix Bloodline. What? So we're going to talk about that really quickly, and then if we have time, hit these other 16 level 20 capstones. So the Phoenix Bloodline. You have been blessed by Phoenix, perhaps via some magical interaction with a similarly blessed individual. Grant this new Sorcerer Bloodline to players who finish the Fists of the Ruby Phoenix. Spoilers! Players can then choose the Bloodline for any new Sorcerer characters they create for future campaigns. Pathfinder, you gave us unlockable classes. Why do we have to unlock what? What? Anyway.
I'm gonna use a cheat and just bypass that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna hold L1 and R1 and up, down, left, right, A, B, start, select.
No, we're using the Game Genie.
The Game Genie.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, also the way they phrased it, I was just in my head, Phoenix Force.
Oh, absolutely. The Phoenix power. No one dies today, so says the Phoenix.
The reason why Jean Grey won't stay dead.
That, and apparently Marvel just loves to make her the most annoying character.
Yeah.
So the Phoenix, I just love the idea that you have a Phoenix in your blood. That sounds so cool. So the spell list is primal.
Yeah.
You now get Druid magic. Your bloodline skills are diplomacy and nature. You get detect magic as a free cantrip, burning hands, see invisibility, fireball, remove curse, breath of life, disintegrate, contingency, moment of renewal, and meteor swarm. Do you want to be a blaster, a healer, support? You have all three with these free spells.
Yeah.
I
mean, the fact that fireball, disintegrate, and meteor storm, the fact that you have access to all three of these with the sorcerer, spell slots.
Yep.
These are like, so if you want just, okay, I'm going to go into Match the Gathering. If you want three of some of the best direct damage spells, boom, right here. Oh, and jumping in chat, Pengu-chan, Phoenix Wings, and Venexel, haven't heard Game Genie in shoot long.
In so long.
It's so long, yeah.
Oh, Game Genie takes me back to the Sega Genesis days.
You know me, I'm always bringing that nostalgia. And Reap Psyche, gotta have something boring and awful to pair with Cyclops.
I hate how Marvel did him dirty. Like, he was a Boy Scout in the beginning, sure, but he wasn't so much of a tool, like a little bit of a tool in that, like, most leaders are. But he wasn't a massive tool until, like, Wolverine became popular. And they're like, in order to make this guy cooler, we gotta make this guy a prick.
I will say this. I kind of liked him as a villain. He's like one of those, he's a villain with a punchable face.
He's a villain. He's Handsome Jack. I will say, he does make a great villain because he takes basically everything that makes him a good leader and then makes it twisted. And I kind of like that.
Oh my god, he was basically channeling Magneto way back in the day.
Actually, it's kind of funny you mention that because when they had the Schism, bit of a comic book detour, when they did the Schism story arc, well, Wolverine and Cyclops went to not a physical war, but a philosophical war to split basically the course of the X-Men. He did start, even though he was preaching Professor X's values, he did it with Magneto's actions. He was like, we are child soldiers whether we like it or not. We must fight for peace, but we must fight for it. Like, we have to torch the world for it.
They even did it with the merch where, remember, for a long time there was the Magneto was right shirt that one character Quentin wore.
Quentin Quagmire. Quentin Quire. Yeah.
And then afterwards, I think he or someone else started wearing Cyclops' right shirts.
Yeah, but the problem with the validity of that is that Quentin Quire is a chaotic
boy.
Well, he's a chaotic contrarian. He was wearing those shirts ironically to piss people off. He didn't really he never really believed anyone. He was just kind of like, what shirt can I wear to make a statement
True.
with the people around me? And then he got the Phoenix, and I was like, that's like giving an atom bomb to an F-boy. Why would you do that?
Yeah. Oh my God, he's a YouTuber.
Yes, he is. Before we get into any more tangents, I want to talk about the Bloodline spells. These are the special things you get. The initial one is Rejuvenating Flames. It's a 15-foot cone, basic reflex, 2-action AoE. You create a gout of flame that both heals and burns. You restore 1d4 to allies in the area, and they get a +1 fort save for a minute. Enemies take 1d4 damage, require a basic reflex save, and it is heightened 1, getting another 1d4 to both healing and hurting. At level 20, for 2 actions, you can both heal 10d4 and hurt 10d4. That is all we ever want.
Yeah, this is really nice, especially if you have a party consisting of a lot of melee-focused characters, and you need that AoE. If you want to kind of do that AoE burst, but don't want to worry about your allies. In fact, you don't have to worry about your allies because you're actually also helping them.
Yeah, like already, this Bloodline is, I think, one of the best Bloodlines I've seen. Blaster Mage, Healer, Support, all in one. The next focus spell, Shroud of Flame. Do you want to cover that, Michael Powell?
Yeah. It's a focus 3 spell. It's, let's see, 2 actions to cast, somatic and verbal, area of 10-foot emulation, duration sustain up to 1 minute. You encircle yourself in an aura of protective flames. Each creature that hits you with an unarmed attack, grapples you, or otherwise touches you, takes 3 fire damage. When you cast a spell, and the first time you sustain it each round, each creature in the area takes 3d6 damage. Basic reflex save, and heighten 1, the damage caused by touching you increases by 1. And the fire damage when you cast a spell or sustain it increases by 1d6.
So, just putting the math out there. At level 20, you decide to use Shroud of Flame. You now have a 10-foot area of effect that sustain up to a minute. So every round it's doing this does about 10d6 fire damage to the area, and anyone who touches you takes 10 fire damage. Now, fire is kind of wonky because a lot of things resist or immune to it, but if you can find the build or the feats or the whatever to bypass resistance, you're doing 10d6 in a 10-foot emanation, 3 fire damage.
This is essentially Kane's intro music, The Fire Burns Inside.
Yes. This is the most insane Bloodline yet, because everything else had like permanency for the hag, which is brutal. But the fact that you're now doing a 10-foot, 10d6 fire damage, 10 fire damage to anyone who touches you in an area, and you can still cast a spell that heals people. So good. So
also, if you build your sorcerer, or sorcerer, and then I guess barbarian or something, you grapple them, and you just. In fact, you don't have to do anything. You just hold on.
I'm just saying, Paizo, the most broken, disgusting, beloved, hot mess of a great class in first edition was the Blood Rager, which is already a free combination of Barbarian and Sorcerer.
Yeah.
I want that. Could you imagine being a Draconic Instinct Barbarian of a Fire Dragon with the Phoenix Blood, and you just fireball me all day? I'm never gonna feel it.
Yeah.
Cleansing Flames. This is the greater one.
Yeah.
You gotta focus level 5, so level 10 roughly. Range is touch 1 creature. You gotta touch 1 creature. You wrap the target in purifying flames. You can attempt to counteract a single poison or non-curse effect impairing them. Clumsy, dazzled, enfeebled, fatigued, frightened, paralyzed, sickened, or stupefied. These conditions can go away. The target can choose to empower the flames with their life force. They become drained 1. And they get a +1 bonus to... Oh, I see. So the person that you're healing can become drained 1. And then you get a +1 bonus to counteract checks. I don't like this, if I'm being honest. for what most champions can do with a lay on hands or what most clerics can do with a simple spell, it seems like to get a +1, they have to lose 10 HP from their, well, they get drained 1, which can kill most people depending on how heavy it gets.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's not a good payoff. Yeah, sure, you can remove almost everything that's a non-curse effect, but...
Yeah, I would just ignore that last sentence there. Just, like, focus on the first two.
Yeah. I always feel like, because, like, yeah, so, okay, I'm going to become drained 1, so you get a +1 to counteract. That +1 may save them. You know what? Just counteract all of these. Let's not worry about the draining at all. It's not worth it. But the free counteract to, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, it's or... So it's not all 8 at once. It's any of one of those 8 conditions.
Yeah. I mean, at least when you're at the level to access this greater bloodline spell, you're gonna bypass that counteract check fairly easy.
Yeah.
I want to say.
Yeah, I think you could, especially at level whatever that is, 10.
Yeah. Really quick, jump in the chat. Ben Exel, ha ha ha. That's why it's unlockable, like Street Fighter Alpha Akuma. And Reef Psyche posted, "Are you kidding me? They gave this Bloodline old school channel and then some."
Yep.
Yeah.
They didn't quite give it like the 30 feet. Well, yeah, actually no. With the purifying flames, it's basically channel, but it's sustainable.
Yeah. I'm gonna take blood magic.
Yes, please. Let's finish the blood magic up.
The primal fire of life and death flows through you or one target. Choose to have either you or a target of the spell gain temporary hit points equal to the spell's level for 1 round, or have a target of the spell take fire damage equal to the spell's level. If the spell already deals initial fire damage, combine this with the spell's initial damage before determining weaknesses and resistances.
So, again, this bloodline is I think one of the greatest catch-alls, because you can choose to either be a blaster or a healer, and no matter what, you always have the option to support.
Yeah.
And that's what this allows you to do. You can either heal for more HP, or you can burn for more damage.
I kind of want to say Phoenix Sorcerer with archetype of either Barbarian if you want to do that grapple build, or Phoenix Sorcerer with a Cleric archetype.
Oh. See, I would love to see the Phoenix with the Cleric, because that actually further enhances both your ability to heal, deal damage, and support. Now you're just at an 11.
Yeah, and you have access now to both Primal and Divine Spellless.
So such a juicy combination of power.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the best bloodlines.
It's really
hands
nice.
Down, top tier.
It's really nice, but I'm still gonna say I think Hag is still top tier at the moment, at least for me, because permanency.
The permanency of their spells are really nice. Looking back on those spells, I believe the ones that they can give permanency to, that is the rules that's written on the spell. It's great that they get that always prepared.
Yeah.
But anyone who's got occult magic can still get that benefit.
True.
Which is still really freaking good.
Yeah.
I got a hair in my eyeball just now. So why don't we move to these new level 20 capstone feats?
Yeah. These are actually in the last Fist of the Ruby Phoenix adventure path called King of the Mountain. And no, you're not Jeff Jarrett. Yeah, I'm going with a wrestling deep dive up there for you. TNA, old school.
The King of Slapnuts. I heard he was released from the WWE recently. Him and Bray Wyatt both.
Oh, he's been released from WWF for a long time.
See, that's what I thought, but then I saw an article saying Jeff Jarrett released from the WWE, and I'm like a decade ago when he made TNA? Like, what?
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't do anything with TNA anymore, I think. But anyway, if you want to listen to talk about wrestling, we got a Discord channel for that.
We do. Join us. Let's talk about wrestling and giving people what was his move where he slammed their face down?
The stroke. The stroke.
The stroke. That's right, because it was a guitar reference.
Yeah.
All right. So how about you start with all the time in the world?
All right. This one we're also to let you all know we're going through these alphabetically. So they're Yeah. This is why, this is a investigator level 20 feat. 3 actions. Your first-hand experience of the subjective nature of time and space has given you new observational insights. Your mind processes information so quickly that time appears to stop for all creatures but you. You can take up to 9 actions in 3 sets of up to 3 actions each. During this time, you could use purely mental and observational abilities such as recall knowledge, seek, and devise a stratagem. And you could use an action to move a mental projection of yourself to a location within a 60-foot radius to observe objects more closely and from different angles, though you can't affect your surroundings in any way. For instance, you can move your mental projection more closely to a distant door to read a minute inscription on its handle, but you cannot open it or to observe the other side. When the duration elapses, time resumes its normal flow. So this is pretty much Zach Morris's timeout.
Whoa, time freeze. She said what? She's a lich? Oh, no. What I love about this is, if you guys ever watched the BBC Sherlock Holmes, this is not only Sherlock Holmes' mind palace, but this is like the evil Dutch guy's mind palace. And the one last thing, Michael Powell, I gotta say before we move on, that makes this even more broken. Despite getting 9 actions in a round, there's no limit to how many times you can use this. There is no flurry.
Yeah.
There is no press. There is no flourish. There is no once a day, once an hour.
Oh my god.
If you really need it, you can basically spend every turn just getting crap tons of information about your environment.
I just realized something. Okay, this is a dick move, so nobody do this.
Oh,
but
no.
Technically, rules as written, you could put the entire game on pause. Like, okay, we're putting the game on pause, guys. Let's do something else.
It's terrible. I think at that point, that's you're like, all right, everyone, we're just gonna like call the game here, and then we come back. I'll just give him all the information he will want in the environment, and we'll go from there.
Oh, you can end game night early.
Well, everyone, that was me. Have a great day. Goodbye. Let's see. Level 20. Oh, this is perfect for me. It's cleric feat. It's called Dance of Intercession. This is also a 3-action feat. At level 20, you have to be expert in performance, and you can only do this 3 times a day. You either performed in or stood witness to the dance used to invoke the celestial dragon and can harness a sliver of their power. A silver of their power?
Sliver.
Sliver. That's correct. You stride in a dance up to half your speed, attempting a DC 35 performance check. You can perform this dance up to 3 times a day. The second time you do so in the same day, use the degree of success 1 worse than your actual roll on the performance check. Third time in a day, use the degree of success 2 lower than your actual roll. Here's what you're rolling for with a DC 35 performance check. Critical success. You perform the movement of the Dance of Intercession so gracefully that you evoke a glimmer of the memory of the celestial dragon's awesome power. You cast the 3-action version of either 9th level Harm or Heal at any point during your stride. This does not use any spell slots. You get to move all 3 actions and then use all 3 actions of either 9th level Harm or Heal for free.
Bad touch, good touch, bad touch, good touch.
Now, to be fair, it's one or the other. You can't do both. But just think about it. A 9th level Harm spell, that's like a 30-foot AoE, if not a little bigger, of like I want to say 9 or 10 D8 plus. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, or you could just moonwalk yourself out of a bad situation, but as you're moonwalking, heal your melee friends.
Yep. Now that's the critical success. A regular success, it's a 7th level instead of a 9th level. Oh no. A failure is the same as a crit success, but it's a 5th level instead of a 9th level as you stumble through your movements. Critical failure, you gain no additional effect beyond moving half your speed, and you can attempt the Dance of Intersection again. You can't do it again until your next daily preparations. So here's the reality. if you're doing this 3 times and you have put a lot of points into performance and you're rolling pretty high, you can, in theory, do this critically for a 9th level, success for a 7th, and then probably botch it and get a 5th level spell. Again,
Yeah.
all for free. For free.
Yeah, and also, like, just visually in my head, this is basically the dancing minigame from Yakuza.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that. See, I think of like the like a cleric of like Kali or Shiva, and as they're moving and dancing, they're either like destroying everything around them or they're like, you know, reinvigorating things around them.
I think I like mine, meaning for a fact that it's in a disco lounge and everything, and there's like a disco ball and like, you know, the light up panels on the floor. But anyway, next up is the Witch's new capstone called Demon's Hair. The prereq for this is you have to have living hair. Your hair constantly wiggles and writhes like that of your rival. Oh, by the way, real quick, there's gonna be spoilers in this for Fist of the Ruby Phoenix if you haven't realized that already. So, FYI. Sutak Noa, I'm probably butchering that name. Your damage die of your hair unarmed strikes increases by 1 step, and it gains the reach and versatile slashing traits. Your familiar assumes partial control over your hair. As long as your familiar is alive and within 30 feet, you are permanently quickened, and you could use the extra action only to make a hair strike. You could deliver hexes through your hair, and when you successfully cast a non-cantrip hex that requires 2 or more actions to cast, and that doesn't require a spell attack roll, if your target is within your reach as part of the spellcasting activity, you can make a hair strike against them before applying any effects of the hex. If this strike misses, the hex has no effect. Special, if your hair already has the reach trait, it instead gains the sweep trait.
This is bonkers. Like, the living hair was always kind of good. Like, it was kind of nice. You know, you get a little bit of range touch, you get a little bit of extra like natural damage. This is on steroids. This is like you now have a bunch of broadswords coming out of your head that just cast spells for you.
Yeah, and you're permanently quickened. So that hair strike is, if it's a melee attack, it's free, or if it's casting a hex spell, it's free.
Yeah, well, the thing is, the free strike is only to make the hair strike, but you get to make the hair strike for free before delivering your hex. Yeah. So that could be really good, because, like, let's say the hex is something like, I don't know, I can't think of any good hexes. Well, I can think of good hexes, but I can't think of, like, a setup where hitting them would have an effect. But it does provide you something where, like, oh, the next hit would provoke this, and I don't want to waste that. I want that to go to someone else, but I'm going to get a little cheap shot in before I set someone else up to just destroy this person.
Yeah, just like, you know, a quick slap.
Ah, it's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, you can also do things where, like, this way you can get a full strike, full series of attacks on them, and then hex them to, like, be afraid without losing that fear, or to be enchanted without losing the enchantment. Oh, that's so good.
And I think this works. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but if you have the monk archetype, you can use that hair strike as part of your flurry of blows.
I think so, yeah. If you have the monk flurry, yeah. Man, this demon's hair is nice. I think they looked at all the capstones level 20 up this point and then went, they're nice, but they're not broken. And then they made this list. Let's see, the Ever-Distant Defense. This is
There you go, PJ.
Perfect for me. It's a champion divine abjuration level 20 capstone. And Ever-Distant Defense is a reaction feat. You have at least one aura from the champion feat or feature. A creature within your aura is targeted by a ranged attack, or a creature moves through your aura. The spatial barrier of Sindara's island has taught you that distance can foil enemies better than any armor. You warp space, causing each square within your aura that the attack or creature would move through to count as triple the distance. If this reaction is used on a ranged attack, The attack takes range increment penalties based on the adjusted range and fails. This would cause it to exceed its maximum range. This is also an aura, which means it doesn't just benefit you. You can make sure it benefits someone around you.
Yeah, like to that, what is it, ranger friend with their bow and arrow. Or honestly, to you yourself, if you want to launch a javelin or a trident.
Now, it says this can be used against range attacks, but it also says, it suggests that this can be done with melee attacks as well. So if your friend is here, right? Let's say you have a squishy healer, and someone's like, healers die first, and they rush up to like punch him in the face. Suddenly that rush, like it ends with like triple the distance. They can't, or they try to strike, and they're 30 feet away or 15 feet away, and they're like, what happened? You're literally like Thanosing them around the dimensional space.
You have the space stone.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's oh god, it's like that MC Etcher picture. Kind of want to say. You know what I'm talking about, right? With all the staircases.
Yeah. Now, it does say the trigger is attack by range attack, or a creature moves through your aura. So if they are charging into the aura, you can now make it 15 feet harder to cross to get them.
And I think I was mistaken when I said you throwing that trident or javelin. It's when your enemy's throwing that trident or javelin. It just becomes a and misses it by like what 30 feet, like thunk.
I'm just imagining it going, and then the spatial thing happens, and it's just kind of standing in midair, and then it kind of drops as if it's just soared all of its feet in one space and just dies, like its ballistics die.
Yeah,
that's so cool, fluff-wise.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have the extra dimensional sash. This is for the rogues. Level 20 feet. The prereq for this is your legendary in thievery. When you perform a sleight of hand, you fold space so objects really do disappear. You create a small extra dimensional space somewhere within your clothing that you can hold up to 5 bulk worth of objects. This space functions as a bag of holding, but can only hold up to 5 bulk. Has no bulk on its own, and can be interacted by with using only one hand. In addition, when you palm an object, you could place it directly into this extra dimensional space as long as the space has sufficient free space to hold the object. This is go ahead.
No, continue. Please continue. I stepped on you.
I was gonna say this could be so useful when you're just like, if you're one of those klepto rogues, and also visually, I'm just picturing a lot of my female identifying friends putting stuff in their bra.
See, I can definitely see that, but regardless of what you want to do with it, this is hammer space.
Yeah.
At level 20 with this feat, you get hammer space to put whatever. I mean, it's only 5 bulk, but still, you're pulling out items for free in the middle of a small pocket.
I mean, but the fact that you don't even have to put it in your pocket, you can literally just grab something and have it materialize into that space.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. Okay, everyone. Hope you have your eyeliner ready, and I hope you have your chemical romance on play, because it's time to be the head of the night parade. That's right, this level 20 bard feat, head of the night parade, is 3 actions. You remember the revelry of the night parade and can call them to aid you in riotous display. You perform and cast 8th level Mad Monkeys 3 times, except the spell calls various apparitions such as the dancing Sukumogami and drinking Oni rather than monkeys. Each casting can produce a different kind of mischief. You can sustain all 3 spells each round using a single performance action. And what does Mad Monkeys do at 8th level? Well, it's a spell level 3, so we'll see where this goes. It's a 30-foot, 5-area burst, sustained up for 1 minute spell from the Lesson of Mischief. Magical monkey spirits fill the air as they pile and climb on top of one another. Because the monkeys are magical spirits, they can't be attacked or hurt. Casting calm emotions or a similar effect over the monkeys makes them docile, causing them to cease making mischief, and the duration of Mad Monkeys. Choose the kind of mischief your monkeys make when you cast a spell. They produce the effect listed for that mischief when you cast a spell, and for each round when you sustain the spell. When you cast a spell, you can move the area of monkeys in 5 feet. There's flagrant burglary. The monkeys try to steal any one item from a creature in the area. DC -10 is the monkey's thievery modifier. Their DC -10. Oh, use your spell DC -10 as the modifier bonus. That makes perfect sense. Their attempt relies more on distraction than subtlety, so the victim knows what the item, what item they're taking, and trying to take whether it was taken. You get the idea. There's some other stuff about stealing it from them will require disarming them using your spell DC. Raucous din. The monkeys screech loudly, potentially deafening creatures in the spell's area. Critical success. With a fortitude save, the critical success makes them unaffected and temporarily immune for 10 minutes. Success, they're unaffected. Failure, they're deafened for 1 round. Critical failure, they're deafened for a minute. Tumultuous gymnastics. The monkeys jump and climb all over the place in the spell's area, interfering with complex movements. Each creature in the spell must attempt a reflex save. The creature's affected, on a crit reflex save, they are unaffected and immune for 10 minutes. Success, they're unaffected. Failure, for 1 round, the creature must succeed a DC flat 5 check whenever it attempts to manipulate action. If the fail checks, the creature loses that action. Critical failure, same as the regular failure, but the monkeys cling to the creature tenaciously, and the effect lasts until the spell ends, even if the creature leaves the spell area. So what does that mean for the Night Parade? Well, they're not just monkeys. Now, they're friggin' demons and horrible ghosts.
And they're a-holes.
And they're a-holes. And you can basically have all 3 Mad Monkey effects.
Yeah.
And you can sustain all 3 of the effects each round using only a performing check.
Yeah, they're great for distractions, which is really awesome for if you consider if you're playing like a con man or con woman type character, or a what is it called? Something like a magician. Like you have your opponents, your targets focus on this while you're doing the real thing back here, or also. Yeah. I think this this would be up to your GM, but if I was a GM, I would allow this. If you want to kind of disrupt a piece of complex machinery with these little onis, yeah, just have them jump all over it, hammer it, basically be little gremlins,
Oh yeah. Now, what I love is that basically instead of only getting 1 ability for a minute, you get all 3 abilities so long as you can sustain them. But the one thing that confuses me, the rule for Head of the Night Parade said you cast this at an 8th level. There's no benefit to that. At least rules has written Mad Monkeys as a 3rd level spell with no boost for being an 8th level casting. It doesn't say anything in the rules as written.
Maybe there's what is it called? Updated rules to it then maybe that wasn't here, but anyway, look it up. Look it up or ask the people at Paizo, WTF.
Yeah, correct me. For dispel magic, Vance. That's actually
dispel. Yeah, you're true.
That's actually a very good point. Yeah. Also, I wanna sing what Reaped put in the chat here. They put, when I was a young bard, my father took me into Death Island to fight a tournament. It was good. I liked it. All right, next up. All right.
Hopefully we don't get a copyright strike on that.
Oh God, I hope it's enough for parody law.
Anyway, next up is a feat for druids called Heart of the Kaiju, and I think a certain druid we know might be interested in this level 20 capstone feat at some point. Witnessing the might of the kaiju, King Magaru, Auru, and Toralora. Up close awoke a new ferocity within you. When you've transformed using monstrosity shape, you could take on a kaiju form. When you take this feat, choose acid, cold, electricity, fire, or sonic damage. This is the damage your breath damage deals. You can't change this later. The battle form is gargantuan size with the following specific abilities. The damage values already include the extra dice from being a 9th level spell. So your stats here are, your speed is 40 feet, physical resistance of 5, 1 action melee jaws, reach of 20, damage of 3d12 plus 20 piercing, melee, claws, agile, reach 20 feet, damage of 3d8 plus 20 slashing, breath weapon, 2 actions, invocation, primal. Each creature in a 60-foot cone takes 15 d6 damage of your chosen damage type with a basic reflex save against your spell DC. Once activated, your breath weapon can't be used again for 1d4 rounds. So essentially you become Godzilla.
Yep, especially the sonic damage, which is so good because not a lot of things are resistant to sonic damage. And why wouldn't you want to choose that, you know? Oh, this is crazy.
Yeah. And the fact that you could shoot, like, also I love the fact that I'm pretty sure you could just choose the visual of what your kaiju form is gonna look like. It could be like, you know, I don't know, a giant monster in a banana suit or something actual, or like a giant rhino or a giant badger.
Absolutely. I would be Tehun, god of the badger. Sonic breath. Oh,
and I will be
God.
Tehun in a banana suit. Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time.
Now, what I would do, just because I'm that kind of basic B, I would try to do Heart of the Kaiju and turn into Pangolin, like, just like, excuse me, sonic breath, blah. Okay, bye.
Oh, hey, we got Kai in chat. Hey, Kai.
Oh, hey, Kylie, how's it going? It's so awesome to see you.
Yeah, we're going through some new level 20 feats. We haven't gotten to the Ranger one yet. Through the Ranger one yet. But the next one is for Alchemist. I believe you should take that, PJ?
Sure. This one is called Plum Deluge. It's 3 actions, a brand new level 20 feat for the Alchemist. You have at least 3 of the same contact poison. That's interesting. Mm-hmm. You have learned to saturate an area with poison in imitation. There we go. With poison in imitation. Why is this so hard? It's because Kylie's here. I'm all nervous. Techniques for your rival, Blue Viper. Some spoilers. As a part of this ability, you interact to draw 3 vials of the same contact poison and throw them in the air. When they shatter and spread a poisonous deluge, affecting a 20-foot burst within 60 feet, all creatures in the burst are automatically exposed to the poison, immediately bypassing any onset time, and must attempt saving throws against that poison. The 3 vials must be identical, even if that poison can come in multiple types or different levels. So it just got to be the same poison. That's pretty good. You're basically creating a giant poison AoE dot that even though they get a saving throw, they still have to take the poison immediately.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, I'll also say this is actually really nice if you pair it with one of my favorite archetypes, Poisoner.
Yeah, I know you love that Poisoner. And this would be kind of a fun combination, especially to bypass the constant resistances to poison or the high fortitude saves. Yeah. Can't make words.
All right, next up is Sorcerer. We got something called the Ruby Resurrection, which is a reaction. Frequency, once per day, and the trigger would be when you're reduced to 0 hit points. In a burst of flame, you return to health like a phoenix rising from the ashes. Change your current hit points to 30 and cast a 6-level fireball centered on yourself. The fireball doesn't affect you. Your hair turns brilliant red for 1 hour. And if you haven't used Ruby Resurrection and you died, you stay in initiative order, and Ruby Resurrection triggers automatically at the start of your next turn. Bring you back to life at 0 HP before having its normal effects. This happens only if there are some remains to resurrect. For instance, if you were killed by Disintegrate, you wouldn't return. And special for this is this feat has the trait corresponding to the tradition of the spells you cast.
So, y'all, if you weren't sure if the Phoenix sorcery bloodline was already broken, now you can just throw this on there and be the most broken. I'm gonna come back from death with 30 HP and a level 6 fireball centered on my person.
Yeah, this is like in a video game where you have that one extra continue.
You know what's funny? It reminds me a lot of, if anyone here remembers City of Heroes, which God bless that poor game. It was so good. And there was a fire power skill tree like the Human Torch, and I want to say the maximum level spell or ability you could get was effectively this: every time you died, you just made this massive explosion that dealt heavy legendary damage, and you came back with like half HP or something insane.
Yeah, this is insurance. This is insurance.
Yeah. Next up, we have the Scapegoat Parallel Self, and I know Michael and I were talking about this before we went live today. This is a reaction. It's Divine Necromancy Oracle Capstone ability. Once per day, your turn starts, or your oracular curse would advance to like the next part. Seeing Sindara superimpose creatures with similar metaphysical properties, you have realized a way to manipulate the effects of your oracular curse. You immediately change your curse to its minor, moderate, or major stage, or back to its mild form. Exchanging the curse effect with that of a parallel version of yourself in another reality. It's weirdly worded, but effectively speaking, instead of suffering the terrible negative effects of your curse, you can do whatever awesome mystery power you're using and then give that curse effect to another you in another dimension to suffer for that one round.
Basically, you're being an a-hole to the multiverse version of yourselves.
Yeah, you're just pissing off Doctor Strange.
Or you're pissing off other versions of your Rick.
I'm just seeing some Oracle using this, and then like someone from the TVA goes, "We have a variant." Let's see here. Going back in the chat. Hello, Kylie. And then Rupsaki saying this is Destiny 1's Warlock Sunsinger ability that when you die you can pop back up. That was, I think, reference to the Sorcerer thing. But yeah, next up, Sever Space. Do you want to cover that one? Because it sounds amazing.
Sever Space. It's 2 actions, and this is for the fighters. Requirements are you're wielding a weapon that deals slashing damage, or have an unarmed strike that deals slashing damage. You destroy the space between you and your targets, allowing you to strike with your melee weapons at great range. Make a melee strike with the required weapon or unarmed attack. The attack gains an 80-foot reach for this strike. After the strike, regardless of whether it succeeded, the world rushes to fill the space you destroyed, bringing you and the target adjacent to each other. You could choose to teleport to the closest space adjacent to your target, or attempt to teleport the target adjacent to you. If you choose the target, they can negate the teleportation if they succeed a fortitude save against your class DC.
You get yourself a fighter with the Mauler archetype, and then you're just dealing insane dice damage with that power attack from 80 feet away. What? I think it's just a normal strike. I think it's just a regular normal strike, but still.
Yeah,
so crazy.
The flavor kind of reminds me of I think it's the comic book version of Shard from the X-Men, where she basically rips was it was it her name something America?
America Chavez?
America Chavez. Yeah. Punching or holes in reality. This one you're essentially cutting like slashes through reality.
This is so crazy. It's like a wrinkle in time, but the wrinkle in time is your blade. Yeah. So I'm really glad we have Kylie in the chat, Miss Kylie, because this one, this is a level 20 Ranger feat. It is 3 actions. It's called Time Dilation Cascade. As a Flourish Ranger ability at level 20, you borrow a bit of time from the future to act now. Kylie, listen to this. You can make 6 strikes. Your multiple attack penalty applies normally to these strikes. If you successfully hit a creature with multiple strikes, combine those strikes damage for the purpose of resistance and weaknesses. On your next turn, you regain 1 action instead of only 3 because you're tired, I guess. This is before any alteration in your actions due to quicken, slowed, or stunned conditions. Either way, you can make 6 attacks at a turn, and you're still going to hit like the highest penalty.
Yeah.
But if you have that Ranger Flurry ability, which I think makes it so that the highest penalty you can suffer is only a -4, just 6 arrow strikes with a flurry, just 4. Oh God, that's so much.
Yeah. Oh
So
man,
much.
I'm gonna double check that. Ranger. It's called Ranger's Flurry, right?
The ability is called Time Dilation Cascade. The Ranger Flurry is a trait. It's a class feature because you have to choose between the flurry, the volley, or something else.
It says here your multiple attack penalties for attacks against your hunted prey. So they have to be part of your hunted prey. Is -3 on your second attack instead of -5, and so basically, your usual penalty would just be at a -2.
Well, it's a -2 because the thing is it still goes up normally.
Yeah.
So if you're doing 6 attacks, it would go 2, -3, and then -4.
Yeah, so when you're going at a -5, it wouldn't be a -5, it would be a -3. If you're going at 6, it's a -4. And then as you go on, like -10 will be a -8.
Well, really? Because I read that it goes up to a maximum -4 instead of -10.
It says here on your third or subsequent attack of the turn instead of -10.
So it would be a -4 instead of -10?
It would be a -8, so it's because it's a -2. Yeah.
Well, because that's with agile or finesse. Whatever the one that gives you less on the... Either way, doesn't matter. We'll get back to that. Vitality Manipulating Stance. Why don't you hit that?
All right, give me a second. Let me get to that. This one is for the Swashbuckler. Well, I actually read this one ahead, and this is really cool. 1 action. Prereq is Vicacious Speed, and requirements are that you have Panache. And honestly, if you're a sorcerer, if you're a swashbuckler, you should already have Panache in pretty much any situation. You move so quickly that you create a short-lived after image that looks exactly like you, in front of you or behind you. You stride, and at any point during your movement, you leave an after image of yourself behind. Alternatively, you can stop moving and send your after image forward instead, up to the remainder of your speed. A creature that spends actions to engage with your after image can attempt to disbelieve it with a will save against your class DC. Once an enemy has disbelieved any of your after image, they are temporarily immune to all your after images for 10 minutes, as long as a creature has not disbelieved the after image. The after image counts as a creature for flanking. The after image lasts until the beginning of your next turn, or until you use this ability again, whichever comes first.
I mean, it's pretty awesome. You basically get like a shadow clone.
Yeah.
And you get this for flat-footed and a whole bunch of things.
Yeah, or was it in Dragon Ball? Basically you're moving so fast, you create after images of yourself. I think that's essentially what it is. You're moving so fast, you're creating after images.
I want to say, like, that's one of the things they do in Dragon Ball, but I don't want to get into a tangent, because speaking of Dragon Ball, we have Vitality Manipulating Stance for the monks. It's a 1-action cost feat. You have learned to attack meridians and pressure points like your rival. I'm not going to say their name, that's spoiler. You gain a Vitality Blast, ranged unarmed strike, that deals 1d4 negative damage, but has a range of 30 feet. It has the unarmed and versatile positive traits. So you can do negative or positive damage, 1d4, up to 30 feet. Additionally, when you use Stunning Fist, instead of saving against being stunned, you choose to have them make a Fortitude save against your class DC with the following results. So every time you blast them and use Stunning Fist, you can do this instead. The target's unaffected on crit. Makes sense. Success. The target's muscles become temporarily weaker for 1 round. They are enfeebled 2. And at any time it attempts to take an action with the Manipulate trait, the action is disrupted unless it succeeds a flat check, DC equal to 5 plus its enfeebled value. Failure, same as success, but it's 1 minute. Critical failure, same as success, but the duration is 1 minute, the flat DC check is 11, and the target takes a negative 10-foot status penalty to all speeds. So stunning is nice. It stops them from taking actions. But like stunning 1, maybe that goes by pretty quickly. This way, for a minute, they enfeebled 2. They can't do anything that requires manipulation because then they just drop it. And they lose movement speed, which kind of does what stun does, broken down over a minute long. I kind of like this. It goes as my dad says, around your ass, get to your elbow, but it does so in a very interesting way.
This is like the combat version of a vibe check.
Yeah, and what makes it weird is that I believe you can use Stunning Fist on like any unarmed strike, and you're blasting these key blasts up to 30 feet. So any blast you do up to 30 feet, these blasts have the potential to do this stunning ability.
Yeah. It's a really solid level 20 monk capstone feat.
Yeah, very, very solid. Why don't you get the barbarian one, Whirlwind Toss?
All right, Whirlwind Toss. Feat level 20. Prereq is you need to have a collateral thrash. Requirements are you have a foe grappled. So this is going to be for you grapple builds. You roll a foe to smash. You whirl a foe to smash into all nearby creatures before throwing them away in intimidation of the technique of your rival. Not going to say that word either, for spoilers. You thrash. During this thrash, your collateral thrash feat applies to all foes against you. You can then throw the grabbed creature 10 feet where they fall prone. And if I'm sorry, I'm laughing at this because I'm getting a hilarious visual. If the foe you choose for collateral thrash is also adjacent to you, they attempt only one save and take the damage only once. So essentially, you're grabbing someone, smashing them against other opponents, and then throwing them as far as you can.
And here's where things get ridiculous. So the damage for thrashing them or for bashing them around is called thrash. The thrash feat for a barbarian level 8, if you don't remember from our deep dive, is that they basically you grab them and you just move them around. It deals bludgeoning damage equal to your strength modifier, which at level 20, could be between 5, 7, 8 damage. Plus your weapon specialization damage. So that means I want to say if you are master, it's another plus 6. So it's potential 14 raw damage plus your rage damage. If you are a giant instinct at level 20, that's another 12. That means just straight up as is, you're doing about 25 raw damage for free. Just grabbing this guy, doing 25 damage to everyone around you, and then just hucking his ass like yesterday's garbage, 10 feet away, knocking him prone.
Giant instinct, and you're grabbing a dragon and smashing them against other dragons or giant creatures, especially if you have like a Titan grappler.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or, oh man. Oh. If
I know.
Something has been, what's that term called when you turn something to stone? Petrified or something?
I don't know, but I do know that like the thing that makes this so powerful, besides the guaranteed flat damage, is that nope, I forgot the setup. But the point was like for a while, monks were considered the grapple build, and I was like, I don't know though. Everything about them is based on strength, and all the meta's going away from that. If you want to play a powerful lucha warrior or any sort of grappler, be barbarian. Yeah. Be barbarian. Slam people.
I was trying to say earlier, basically you grab an opponent who has been turned into stone, smash them against, basically use them as a club and smash them against other people, and then chuck them as far as you can and smash them against the wall.
God, and with the Titan grappler too, like just with that huge level creature.
Yeah.
Let's get this last one. World Sphere Gravity. This is a level 20 feet for a wizard. One action. Once per hour, you can do this crazy thing. Though creating demiplanes usually requires lengthier rituals, that's not a good sentence, you know how to establish minor planar effects In an imitation of a person, I'm not going to say it's a spoiler, if your next action is to cast a spell of at least 5th level from your spell slots that affects your area, you can apply one of the following planar effects to a 20-foot burst centered within the spell's area. This effect persists for 1 minute. Gravitational morass. The pull of gravity is amplified here, creating greater difficult terrain. Flying creatures that pass through the area must succeed a reflex save against your spell DC or fall to the ground, taking bludgeoning damage equal to half the distance fallen. Good old fall damage. Or flowing time. Erratic time streams aid you within this space. A creature that starts its turn in the burst is affected by haste on that turn. So what this beautiful thing does, it's a meta magic feat, so it's 1 action added to the spell you're about to cast.
Yeah.
You can either now basically haste your entire party for free while you buff them with whatever the spell was that you casted, or you can shoot a fireball spell and cause everything in the area to just collapse into the center area of the fireball. It's really cool. It's not like mind-blowing, but it's a lot more exciting than what I'm sure their level 20s are usually, which is like, here's a free level 10 spell. This kind of sucks, but take this anyway. Blah, blah, blah.
I will say it's kind of cool the fact that it's basically a 20-foot burst, and in that area, it lasts for a minute, which means 10 rounds. So anything within this 10 rounds, you get, the gravitational morass, or everything's hasted for like 10 rounds. Yeah. And also, this also reminds me of the Magic the Gathering novels back in the day during how they wrote the Urza saga, where Urza was doing experiments on basically time movement in this one island.
Yeah. It's a really good, and I think the thing that makes it better or so good is that it is a meta magic ability. So if you're casting a 9th level buff spell to like a nice 20-foot area, then that means everyone in that area is now getting that 9th level buff spell plus haste. You do like a 9th level fireball in that area. Now they're taking obscene amounts of damage. Plus they get a bunch of other, let's see here, I'm trying to remember the exactitude of it. If they're flying, they're not anymore. That's useful.
Yeah.
And they take bludgeoning damage for the fall, and it's greater difficult terrain, so it's almost impossible to get out of that area unless they waste like at least 2 actions on their turn. And by that time, if they've all wasted 2 actions and they're still within a 20-foot burst, you drop another fireball.
Yeah.
So that is these level 20. I think even Van said these level 20 capstones are broken.
Yeah.
Really these level 20 abilities are crazy. They are.
Really quick, jumping in the chat. Reap Psyche posted. So for the Ranger Flurry thing before, the way Michael was describing it is how the base version works. At 17, however, you get Masterful Hunter, which upgrades it to cap at -4, -2 with an agile weapon. If you have a master proficiency with your weapon, your multiple attack penalty for attacks against your hunted prey is -2, with -1 with an agile weapon on your second attack of the turn, and -4 with a -2 with an agile weapon on your third and subsequent attacks on the turn.
Yeah, what I was trying to mention before is the -4 penalty is with either an agile or finesse. I always get the two confused. Weapon, which makes it really good because if you want to do multiple, let's see, is it only melee weapons?
I was going to say, I think, I kind of want to say ranged weapons also apply to that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is that what I'm saying? It doesn't say it's only melee weapons. So in theory, if you have a bow and arrow, and you have the flurry feat, the flurry trait, at level 20, when you could take 6 actions, and you have an agile bow, which I think exists. If not, I'll make it. That means you could take 6 actions with no penalty higher than a -2.
Ooh, also, if you picked up that early level gravitational weapon feat, where you basically you're basically pumping more damage in that one to at least the first shot. Ooh, 6 turns at level 20, you're gonna be taking out. You're gonna be either taking out something, or you're gonna be causing massive damage to something.
And just think about like at level 20, because that's when that feat is from,
Yeah.
you should have a +3 major striking weapon. So that means it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be +3 to hit and and 3 bonus damage dice of the same amount. So if, let's just assume with a -2 penalty, all 6 shots are going to hit. And I'm not even going to do the math with critting, right?
Yeah.
And I want to say a bow is a D8. So that means you're doing 4d8 if you know, because I gave Shonibus a ring that gives her bonus damage to range attacks based on her wisdom modifier.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say that wisdom modifier is +3. That's 4d8 plus 3 times 6.
Yeah.
And I believe they become one giant stack of damage to bypass resistances. So it's not like each one's being resisted. They're stacking for one giant damage dump.
PJ, really quick. Fireball is a level 4 spell, right?
It starts at level 3, I want to say.
Okay.
I want to say. I might be wrong. But I think it's
Okay.
level 3.
Because I was going to say, if you take the Eldritch Archer dedication, you have Enchanting Arrow, which is basically you're adding more damage on top of your arrows, or you can enchant your magic arrow with a Fireball spell to it.
Oh, it's so good. I just did the math. If you're not the Eldritch Archer that gets to do awesome spell arrow shots, just raw as is, level 20 Ranger, assuming each one is max damage. So this is maximum.
Yeah.
Those 6 hits are going to be doing 210 damage in one dump, one big burst. And here's the cool thing: after you do that damage, you just go back to being like, oh no, I can only do one action this round. Oh,
PJ, do some math. Do some math for me.
Oh, you can do it every other time. Oh Lord.
What if on a hit you also, on top of that, you deal additional 10d10 precision damage?
Oh god, that's another 100 damage. It's 310.
Yeah, that's the Arrow of Death. It's a 3 action ability. You can use once per day, but yeah, you're doing 6 actions.
Well, here's the thing. So it's 3 actions to do 6 strikes, unless the thing says this counts as a strike action or something like that. Regrettably, I don't think you can combine it, which is fine because that is so broken. Oh my god.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, these have been they're the new capstone feats for pretty much all the currently released classes for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Chat, let us know which one sounds the most interesting to you, or if you have any ideas on how to basically use these new capstone feats. And PJ, which has been kind of your favorite so far that we've gone over?
Yo, it's so hard. I'm not gonna lie, it's very tough. The Heart of the Kaiju for the Druid is exciting, and the damage output is pretty solid. I would, just because comparatively to other melee classes, I think that the damage may not stack appropriately.
Yeah.
But the Sonic Breath is very good.
Yeah.
And a 15d6 regular or basic reflex save, so if they critically fail, which is just a 10 under the DC, then that means you're doing 30d6 damage. That's awesome. The Ranger ability to strike 6 times, and if you take Flurry, which you'd probably want for this kind of build, only a -2 penalty, upwards maximum roof of 210 damage, and as Reap Psyche said in the chat, that's not even including bonus runes like Shocking and Fire. That does another d6 damage. That's potentially another 30, almost 250 damage.
Yeah.
That's because here's the thing: we all know that other game Rangers kind of suck. In this game, sure they don't have magic, but what they do is raw power. It's so good.
And honestly, giving the magic's not even that difficult. You're just picking up a spellcasting archetype. That's not hard.
If you want it.
Yeah.
If you want it. And it works so much better than the other one where it's like, here's a smite, whatever. We feel bad for you.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. Jumping in the chat. See. Recycle posted, that doesn't even count the possibility of property runes like Greater Ice / Acid / Thunder / etc. Yeah. Penguin Witch Doctor posted, Cleric to me would be fun. I wonder if I can mime it out. Or you can meme it out too.
You know, yeah, just you
Yeah.
know, guess you'll die. I do love the cleric level 20 ability. Not gonna lie, the
Yeah.
ability to have free heal or free harm, ninth level, 7th level, and 5th level respectively. That's so good, and
Oh
just
yeah.
in an area all over the place.
And I gotta say, even though PJ and I, we have made fun of the scapegoat parallel self off camera, like for the past week now, I kind of want to say.
At least.
That feat actually makes the Oracle class worth playing, at least at a level 20.
Yeah. Like I remember playing Oracle in Pathfinder 1 and sure you had some weird things, but the juice was worth the squeeze. The perks outweighed the cons. And in Pathfinder 2e, like I love the Oracle. They gave such amazing fluff to it, but it is hard mode. Oracle in Pathfinder 2e, you're playing because you want to have a hard time and have a lot to role play. And for me, someone who loves combat, that doesn't always equal to a good investment. This level 20 capstone ability effectively lets you once a day, once an hour, bypass the entire mechanic.
Yeah.
Which is kind of needed.
Yeah. As PJ said, I think the time dilation cascade is one of my favorite ones here. Also from a designer point of view, because I like the fact that after usability on your next round, you will be taking that. You only get one action now, but dude, you already took 6 strikes. That makes sense. It's built. I feel it's built. It's built fair. It's built fair. That's the best way I can say it. Built fair.
100%.
Yeah.
Because like the balance with the investigators' 9 actions in one round is that none of them can be used to attack. It is solely to gather intel and ask questions and get 9 bits of data back. It's which is basically what the investigator's all about, is getting information and solving puzzles.
Yeah.
And the ranger, you know, you also have that benefit of like you just did 6 strikes. You're kind of exhausted. You probably pissed off whatever the GM has, you know, coming your way, and you can use that one action to just, you know, GTFO and be like, nope, I'm not going to sit here and deal with the consequences of my actions.
I just like the idea. Oh god. Oh, now I remember what I was gonna say. It's like in Full Metal Alchemist equivalent exchange.
100%.
Yeah.
Ooh, speaking of Full Metal Alchemist, not the alchemy with the poison. That's cool, but I am so in love with the Sorcerer level 20 capstone.
Yeah.
And combine it with the Phoenix Bloodline, where you're dealing damage and healing in equal measure. What? It's amazing.
Oh god, it's like, oh god, I think it's a meme or it's a TV show or something where the character keeps dying, but like, nope, I'm not dead yet. Nope, I'm not dead yet. I'm still around.
Well, I mean, there's Kenny who dies in every episode and is back for no reason. I love that.
Oh, Kenny is a Phoenix Sorcerer. Kenny's a Phoenix Sorcerer. But I will say, oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say his bloodline is definitely like a cult because he's basically like the ritual son of Cthulhu. I think.
I will say though, I feel that the weakest of these new capstone feats are going to be all the time in the world for investigators and Plum Deluge. Plum Deluge. It's just, I don't know, it feels kind of lackluster a little bit, but for me, all the time in the world, it could be actually mid. I want to say it can be mid tier. The only reason I say that it's kind of one of the weaker ones, it's all up to your GM. It's very GM dependent.
Yeah, GM discretion, and that does make things kind of wonky, especially at level 20, because you have to have a GM who respects at level 20. This is supposed to be a big thing. But at the same time, sometimes it's like, well, if one guy is solving all the puzzles and doing everything, then how is that fair for everyone else? So it's a hard balance, and one that makes the ability kind of potentially problematic. But that being said, it's that time. It's that time. We were even going up here. I was like, I don't know if we could do all this in one episode, Mr. Powell. And he was like, we could do this. We got this. And to his credit, we knocked out 2 archetypes, a crazy-ass bloodline, and 16 new level 20 capstone feats. So if you're interested in playing the Ruby Phoenix, check it out because all the stuff's there.
Oh, that's really cool.
And hopefully we hear back from the guy at Drunk Geek podcast who's going to be doing this campaign live with an all AAPI cast, including, I believe, 1 or 2 people that worked on the book. So when we get that information, we'll let you know. But until then, yeah, what's it?
I was going to say, also I want to let everybody know, all the books for this Adventure Pass has been released because Paizo released all of them at once due to the shipping delays from last year. So you get it all now, all at once. They're all available.
Yeah. So get it while you can, live your best DBZ life, and enjoy a really awesome, like, fantasy China, fantasy Japan kind of environment. Yeah. So until then, let us say our goodbyes, starting with you, Mr. Michael Powell. Who are you, and where we can find you on that sweet, sweet internet?
Well, I am Michael Powell, and you can find me all over the internet on my social medias, which is at Mr. Kapow, that's MRKAPAO, or my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Michael Powell Does Stuff, because I do a lot of stuff like my YouTube channel called Fantastic Tales of Adventure, and on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Toyzilla Network channel here on Twitch, I'm part of a show called Toyzilla Live, where we talk about the latest in toy news and nostalgia stuff. So yeah, really good time. Hope to see you there. What about you, PJ?
Well, my name is PJ McGaw. You can find me all over the internet at pj.mcgaw, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Come find me, come friend me. Let's have fun. And when I'm out here with Mr. Michael Powell on Tuesdays, 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you can find me, Kylie, in the chat there. Mr. Michael Powell, of course. Sydney, Sam, and Ian as we do our flagship Pathfinder 2nd Edition game, Edge of Legend. And please, please, please make sure to tune in tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, as the heroes begin the hunt for Anakin. And y'all, I got plans. So please tune in Wednesday night at 8 p.m., tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and hopefully we can make some new exciting announcements as time progresses. And until then, we will see you same Nat time, same Nat channel, here at the table.
Bye!
Bye!